Hey folks, Dr. Rob Jones here, heydrrob.com. So this is part 3 of our disc bulge series, or disc protrusion, herniation, whatever you have. If you're hurting, go back to part 1 of this series. Okay, we talk about the extension work to actually get that disc pushed back in. Part 2 was proper movement and bracing. This is part 3, and these are some exercises that are really important, okay? You really want to get your symptoms managed first, learn how to move properly, and then we have to start doing some core bracing, okay? And some exercise to get some endurance back in that core, because your back is broken down, your spine is somewhat injured, so your brain is thinking, hey, we can't use those muscles, that area is broken down. So what you have to remember is you have to institute really good programming to get your core right so it's nice and strong so that disc stays in a good place. So we're going to do 4 exercises today. Let's call it bird dog, bear, dying bug, and just a little bit of very, very easy side planking, which is more half side planking. So we've done these on previous videos, but I really want to share these again because the importance is huge with these, because they create neutrality, they pull the disc in, and then they give you that endurance you need. So we're going to start with the bird dog. Okay, so again, getting up and down from the ground is super important, like we've talked about. We want to do it with a good spine-sparing thought process. Okay, so we're going to go quadruped, okay, all fours, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Okay, now, little downward movement, little upward movement. Okay, if you've just gotten over an active disc, we're not doing a ton of this, okay? It's mostly down and up, just to kind of find where you're most comfortable. Right there for me, I feel really good. I've kind of got a nice neutral lordosis there, so let's do some bird dog, okay? So I'm gonna brace my core, not sucking the belly button back. I'm gonna tension everything. If you're still not used to doing this, little cough like that will tighten you up. Now, we're gonna go opposite arm and leg, and all we have to do is create a straight line. I've got patients who will really crank this up and they'll twist. We don't want any movement through the lumbar spine. Remember, the lumbar spine is for stability. We don't want it to move. We want to move through the hips and shoulder. So just bring that leg up until you just feel your glute contract, and then we just hold this position. If you feel your lower back kind of crunching or contracting or squishing, you've gone too high, so bring that down. Now, this is really challenging. This is all you need to do, okay? 5 to 10 seconds, stop, go to the other side, reset the mechanism, make sure you're neutral. Right leg, left arm, feel for that glute contract again. If this is really challenging, this is all you need to do. It's just nice and stably and very slowly move through each process. Couple of sets until you're fatigued, okay? There's really not a great number that you need to do. A lot of patients will say, well, do I need to do 12 per side or 10 per side? I will say go until you're tired, go until you're challenged, okay? If you're huffing and puffing, you can barely hold it, then you've obviously done too much. So just go until you have a little fatigue. If that first part is easy, then we're gonna progress to something a little more challenging, okay? So again, we're gonna always go through that same process, neutral, brace, come out. Now, if this is pretty easy and you can hold it for 10 seconds and you're bored, then do some movement with it. Do some squares. Go up and down a little bit again. Don't crank your spine. It's just until you feel your glute. In and out will challenge you a little bit, okay? Sweep the ground, come back out, okay? Make the movements that you want to do, whether it's a square, do some circles, sweep the ground again, and try to get it so you're doing about kind of 30 seconds, 45 seconds per side, and that's going to give you a nice core challenge. Okay, get set again. Come up so you're nice and neutral, not too extended. Again, you can sweep, you can go in and out, up and down, squares or circles. Okay, once you do a couple sets of those, and it's, you know, you're a little fatigued. I mean, even that, I mean, I'm not fatigued, but I can feel my core working there, so it's a pretty good challenge. So that's your bird dog with some progression. Next, we're gonna do a little bit of bear, and this is my favorite move really of all time, because, you know, we did this when you were in pain, but it's also a great core movement because it forces those discs back in. So we're going to go hands over shoulders, we are going to go knees over hips, and we're going to go ankles over toes, and basically we're going to brace, come up, a little bit of knees to the side here just to give yourself a little bit of a glute medius contraction, which is a nice pelvic stabilizer. And we're just going to hold this position. Now what I want you to do in this position is I want you to brace and I want you to breathe while you're maintaining your core brace. Now this is challenging for a lot of my patients because they go, well, doc, I'm braced, and what do I do now? I have to hold my breath. Well, you don't want to hold your breath. You want to brace and picture you have a ring here, and then you have a plunger going up and down, and that's your diaphragm. Okay, so here's your bracing mechanism. So you keep it tense, and you shouldn't see a collapse in your stomach, okay? So we're gonna go up in that bear position. Spine is nice and neutral, no risk to the disc at all. Doing some breathing. Now again, this should be challenging. If you can hold it for 30 seconds, great, okay? If you can't, go for 10 seconds, and again, just do as many reps as it takes until you're fatigued. If this is just cake for you, and it's super easy because you're pretty strong, let's try something a little more challenging. Get yourself nice and braced, let's get into a bear, and let's do a donkey kick. And let's try to hold that for 10 or 20 seconds. Okay, we'll do that on each side. Now the idea here is I'm going from a 4-point stance to a 3-point stance, and gravity is actually trying to pull my hip down. So I have to keep this level. If you are here and you're dropping down, you're not ready for that, okay? You have to be level. There should be the ability, when you do this move, to put a tennis ball on your lower back to make sure it stays in that good position. Okay, so there's your bear, you know, a couple of sets. Again, holding it until you're fatigued, doing those donkey kicks if you like, okay? The next move we're gonna do is one of my favorites. It's called a dying bug. Okay, now, this move, I want you to get to your back safely, so we're gonna go to the side, and we're gonna roll to the back. We don't wanna do a reverse sit-up, okay? Because remember, we just fixed that disc, we don't want it to come back out. Now, with the dying bug, this is a nice rudimentary movement because it forces your core to contract properly. I get arguments from patients all the time. They'll say, but my instructor told me to pull my belly button back towards my spine and flatten it to the ground. Again, we've talked about that. Horribly wrong information. This move done properly automatically creates an outward volumization of your core, and it puts you into a nice lordotic position. It's a natural position. Okay, so this will tell, you can tell your instructor about, hey, I went into this position and I didn't do the belly button vacuum and flattening, and they'll probably say, well, you're wrong, and well, you can say you're right. So anyways, I digress. So we're gonna start in this position. We don't wanna bring the knees past your hips. If we do, you'll feel, and I can feel it right now, my spine is flattening. And if you have an L5-S1 disc, which is the bottom one, it'll start to bulge. And I have patients who get in this position, they'll go, oh, Dr. Rob, it hurts. So if we come out here a little bit, okay, knees are a little bit past 90 degrees, you're gonna have a nice core contraction. Feel it, and you'll be tense through here. Now we're only gonna move through the hip, we're not gonna move the knee. We're gonna take this heel, tap the ground and return. Tap the ground and return, tap the ground and return. If you're not strong enough and you're shaking like a leaf, we're gonna do this a little differently. We call this up, up, down, down. So we're gonna start here, we're gonna come up through the hip, a little bit before 90 degrees, that's up. Now we're gonna go up again, then we're gonna go down. You can really feel your core engage here, and then we're gonna go down again. Okay, so again, if you're a little weaker and you really were hurting and you haven't really had a lot of background in this, it's just up, up, down, down, again until you're fatigued, couple of sets, okay? Now, if you're stronger and you can manage the dying bug, you're gonna wanna go up and down like this, not too fast. You can incorporate your arms just like you're walking, okay? If this is too easy, what you can do is you can get your head really close to a wall, push on the wall right here, and as you push, go tap, return, tap, return, tap, return. What is gonna happen is you're gonna get a really nice upper abdominal and lower abdominal connection with that, and you're gonna get a really nice core workout with that, while your spine is in extension, pulling that disc back in. So again, some great moves to get you stronger and pull that disc back in. Now, we have to incorporate the lateral sides here and the glutes because they're really important stabilizers. So we're gonna just do a nice, simple little half side bridge. And what I want you to do on this one is we don't wanna rise up from a sagged position, okay? You wanna basically push the forearm into the ground. You want your neck neutral. And now your spine should be in a nice neutral position. We're gonna pick this top leg up. We're gonna drive this knee and this back foot to the ground. It's going to raise us up. We're going to push the hips forward. Again, what we're doing here is we're hip hinging. You'll see a lot of people do it this way, where they'll come up and they'll come straight down. That's all spinal movement. We don't want spinal movement. We want hip movement. So again, push the forearm into the ground. Pick the spine up. Nice abdominal brace. Leg up. Knee and foot are going to crank into the ground. Up and forward. And again, if you can hold that for 10 seconds, great. If you can hold it for 30 seconds, great. If it's easy, then you can do things like this, where you maybe move this leg forward and back. Again, just moving through your hip, you can pick this leg up and down. But again, this downside of your core is having to work really hard. This glute med is having to work really hard to keep everything nice and stable. Now when we're done, we hinge back, no movement through the spine. Okay, we're going to do that on both sides. So again, we'll get down to the side safely. Okay, same sequence. Always start with that nice abdominal brace, not belly button vacuuming. Push the forearm into the ground. That will pick the spine up. Keep the shoulder stable. Pack your neck back. Leg up. Drive. Drive. Up we go. Hip hinge forward. And again, if this is challenging, then this is the best you can do. You're just going to hold this up here. If this gets easy, again, you can do some leg movement. You can even do a little bit of a forward rotation, which will really incorporate more glute medius movement. If you have some shoulder pain with either of these movements, you can just do a simple bilateral leg raise, and that just looks like this. We're going to go here, support the head, brace the core, and basically both legs are just going to come up just like that. So right now, my whole upper aspect of my core is going to work really hard to keep my legs up. And then the same principles apply. Hold it as long as you can until you're tired, drop it down and repeat. Once that gets a little easy, then you can do some little flutter kicks, again to create an increase in core challenge. And then as you get stronger, hopefully you can progress up to the half side bridge. Okay, so if you follow all the previous steps for disc issues and you get into the strengthening until your symptoms are completely gone, this is a good routine to do every day, okay? Once you get stronger, just for pain management, you can do some extension stuff. I usually talk to my patients that are really into exercise, do the extension work before exercise, do it after exercise, do it before a sporting event, do it after a sporting event. Do it right before you go to bed. It's a great time to do it because you can mitigate any of that disc injury that happened during the day and you wake up feeling better in the morning. But again, finishing with these movements to get stronger, continuing to incorporate proper movement so you're not re-aggravating that disc, you're staying in lordosis, again, you will get better and you will no longer be a disc pain sufferer. So again, hope you like this. If you do, leave me a comment, leave me a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you can get good information from us. Hit me up on socials, and as always, don't forget to protect your back.